Hello, today I'm going to be teaching you about what is linear probabilistic modeling. You know, linear probabilistic modeling is used for modeling data that is expected to be linear in the relationship, between your x value, which is what the equation is dependent on, or your dependent value, and your output, your y value, which is the resultant value of what you're actually trying to solve for. When using linear probabilistic models, we typically run into equations such as the following, where our b0 value represents the y-intercept of our regression line, and in turn is the base probability of our model. Our b initial represents the slope of our linear regression line, which in turn also shows the relationship between our inputs and our outputs, inputs being our x values and outputs being our y values. For example, a positive slope shows us that a higher input will most likely yield a higher output. Then we have our x values, which is the cumulative inputs that occur after each individual input. So if we look at our first plot, we just have x1. When we're looking at our second plot, we have x1 plus x2, and which goes on for as many x values we have. Our e represents the deviation of our y value, which is the random error, which accounts for the random error of our plots. When looking at a typical elevator within a apartment complex or a hotel building, we typically have to look at, as engineers, what is the total amount of stress that an elevator might be causing on a typical day. So here we have modeled the amount of people that may be in the given elevator versus the total weight that they might each contain, or what the total amount of weight that each of them will produce. So why is this important is because this slope will give us, the 185.5 will give us the amount of tension that is on average going to be needed to handle for the amount of people within the elevator. The linear probabilistic models allow for probabilities to be easy to read for the engineers, represents a statistical model in a simple method, and makes for a quick analytical tool so the engineers can ensure that the families and apartment complex can entrust in them and their work.